under this vision, Homage and Welderly was formed in 2015 as the home care service for elder by utilizing the blockchain technology to support this startup. And today we have the co-founder right here with us, a young entrepreneur who will share with you another valuable session. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the co-founder of Homage and Welderly, Mr. Thong. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for giving me the opportunity to be here today and share with everyone about my personal experience. Just a quick introduce about myself. I'm Thong. I'm co-founded Homage and Welderly. So far, all my life, I have been focusing on the business for the elderly care services. And I started Homage, which is a leading on-demand home care services for the seniors in Singapore. We raised 1.2 million US dollars from some of the established VC in US and Singapore, including 500 Startup, Golden Gate Venture, and Jungle Venture. Just last year, during the National Day rally speech, Homage was mentioned by the Prime Minister of Singapore, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong. And we also awarded the Social Enterprise Startup of the Year at the President Challenge Social Enterprise Award 2017. And Homage also received OCBC Bank Emerging Enterprise 2017 Most Promising Startup Award. So Homage, we receive a lot of support from different organizations because, you know, like elder care is a national concern, and we all know aging population is becoming faster and faster all over the world. Also about myself, I'm also the advisory board members of SMU Social Impact Accelerators, and I mentor for the company incubated under the program. These are the companies that run business that create social impact to the society. And I also raised a round of angel funding, over 200,000 from Singapore-based angel investor, and secure some grants from different organizations in Singapore, like the Singapore Ministry of Health Holding, DBS Bank Foundation, and Singapore Center for Social Enterprise. I also do part-time lecturing at Lytton Academy, which is a digital skill accelerator. This comes to my personal inspiration because I want to share my skills and my experience with others, people who want to learn new skills. So this program caters to the mid-career professional who want to gain new skill set in digital marketing. And I'm also a business mentor for the Action Community for Entrepreneurship in Singapore. So because I work in the elder care space, I have a lot of opportunity to actually talk with leaders from different countries. For example, recently, the former Prime Minister of Canada, he actually came to visit our office. And I also had the chance to meet with the Prime Minister of Vietnam when he came over under the invitation from the Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. I think aging is such a big problem in the world. That's why whenever I talk to all these leaders, right, they share the same concern and they find a lot of potential in using technology to enable the seniors to age with grace and joy, because currently we have a lot of innovation, but mostly focus only on the youngster. We have Snapchat, we have Instagram, we have all these different exciting platforms for the younger people, but we really don't have something that cater to the needs of the seniors. And that is a strong motivation for me. So I just want to share a little bit about my company Homage, right? Why I started on this. So it's come very close to my personal experience. Because there was a time where my family was taking care of my grandmother's. She was having diabetes. And a lot of the time, the family member need to coordinate the care, need to find care professional to come to the house. Sometimes it feels like a full-time job because you need to spend a lot of time, need to coordinate all these different services for the seniors. So I find there's a challenge there for the caregivers. And I was thinking, why not use some innovative idea using the business model from Uber or Grab, right? Where you have a pool of care professional and you use technology to match them to the seniors who need help. So for Homage, we actually build a matching algorithm. We include 15 different unique variables. For example, like the age, the genders, the characteristic of the seniors. So for example, if you have a male senior, right, you cannot have a female care professional to help the seniors. But if you have female seniors, then you normally will have a female care professional come because it's feel more personal. And also we have certain things like if the senior is very heavy, you cannot allocate someone who is too small in size because she cannot help the senior to move around or to do the wheelchair transfer. And I want to share with you when you want to start the idea, right? You always love your idea so much, but try to spend some time to think through the idea carefully, try to validate it, and go out of your own house, go out of your office to actually go to the market, talk to people, really understand their needs. And you can use certain techniques to test out your idea. You don't need to spend a lot of money because we all know that entrepreneur, as a first-time founders, you don't have a lot of resources, you don't have a lot of money. So for example, what I did last time is I basically just do a very simple like Google keyword research. So for example, like I will search for certain keyword like home care services in Singapore, and I will see how many people are actually searching for this kind of keywords. And straight away, even though I spend a very small budget, right, I can have a very good feeling about whether there's such a demand for the kind of service that I provide. So that is the first stage, ideation. You have some idea and you want to make sure that it has a product market fit and it has a potential to bring in revenue to your company. And move on to the next stage is to building up of your products. Because after you have the idea, after you have validated your business model, you need to start to spend some resources to create something called the minimum viable product, which is the MVP. So nowadays there are many different tools out there that you can use. For example, you can quickly like create a website and then you use different services like Typeform or MailChimp, all these things that make it very easy for you to create a business within like 1 or 2 days, and you can actually start to run your business. And then it's come to marketing. So for example, as I mentioned, you can do like SEO, like search engine optimization, or SEM, search engine marketing. So you can run the Google advertisement for a certain keywords, and people will start to go to your website and then they will contact you. So it's very important when you start to do all this is that you constantly maintain a set of metrics to keep track of your business progress. For example, like when it's come to marketing, right, you have a marketing funnel. So you have at the top of the funnel is the total number of the people that you can reach out to. And then some of them might become interested in your business. They will go to your website, they start to talk to you, chat with you online. And these people, very few of them will eventually become your paying customer. They can actually contact you to arrange for the services. So what I constantly try to do with my business in the early stage, right, is I will keep track of the conversion rate. How many traffic actually convert to qualified leads, and how many qualified leads actually convert to the paying customers. So these are very small things that you can actually do in the early stage to validate your business, to attract new customer. So a lot of people will ask me the question, is entrepreneurship a mindset? Like, do you need to have this kind of thinking in order to become an entrepreneur? I would think that it's important to have the spirit of venturing, you want to do something new, but it's something that you can actually learn by experience. It's not something that you cannot acquire by learning. So I always advise the new or young entrepreneur that you should try to pick up some like skills, for example, like coding, like you can be able to create your own website, you can create your own minimum viable product, and you should learn a little bit about digital marketing. So as an entrepreneur, you need to have a lot of different skills because in the early stage, you don't have resources, right? You cannot hire people. So that is where you need to get your hand dirty and really do a lot of stuff. Yes, and for Homage, last time when I started out, I do all this and then I start to get people in. And of course, in the early day, you don't have 100% of the business model already implemented. You will learn over day how to make the business become better and better. So for example, when I started Homage, there's this challenge, right? The chicken and egg problem. There's a demand and supply. If you don't have the supply, how do you attract the demand? So first thing is you need to be able to curate a pool of care professionals. They can be like registered nurse, nursing student who want to earn some extra income. So very simple, I will just go straight away to all these job listing portals and start to post job to search for people who want to do this kind of job. And I start to get in people who want to become a care professionals, and they go for training, they go for different selection, they do background check, and that is where I start to get in the supply side. It's very similar to how Grab or Uber do, right? In the early day, Uber, they actually don't have much demand. So what they do is they actually just have the driver to drive around to give the impression that they actually have the supply side of the drivers. And that is where they start to attract more customers to their platform. Yeah. And after I worked for a while in Homage, right, the idea about Homage is that it's focused only on the home care vertical in the elder care space, but I see that there's a bigger problem. So as an entrepreneur, you always constantly be tested with the new ideas, and that is why I started Welderly, which is a global blockchain platform for elderly wellness and care. So the problem is that in elder care space, there's this critical problem of care fragmentation. You all know that the seniors, right, they receive care from many different care domains. For example, like home care, daycare, nursing home, but currently the information resides in each organization in silo, and there's not much of information exchange between different care domains. And that is where I have the idea of using the blockchain technology to act as a middleware that connect to different organizations and to help to coordinate the care between different service providers and different care domains. And I apply the same techniques. I will do very quick validation of the ideas, and we have already had the approval from the Infocom Development Authority of Singapore to do a nationwide pilot of using blockchain technology to implement in the elder care space. So the idea that I want to encourage each one of you is to really think fast and act fast, because any one of us can have an idea, but it's all come down to execution, whether you can actually make the idea to make it from 0 to 1. It's a very famous book by Peter Thiel, right, where he mentioned about different techniques that you can get your startup from the ground up to the next stage. Yeah. So the next thing that I want to share with you about is, after you have grown your business to a certain size, after you have the products, what can you do to bring your startup to the next level? That is where you need to get in the funding, either from friends, families, or fools, the 3F, or you can get the money from the angel investor, or you can get money from VC funding. So different investor will have different requirements, and it's come with pros and cons. For example, if you get money from family and friend, right, there's not much liability. You can get the support from them, and there's not much expectation that you need to return the money at a certain time. But the moment that you get money from, let's say, VC, for example, like we got money from 500 Startup, Golden Gate Venture, and Seed Plus, right? They have a very clear expectation. So every month you need to be in contact with them, let them know about your KPI, whether you have achieved a certain objective that you have agreed with them when you receive the funding. For example, when we get the funding from VC like 500 Startup, right? We actually need to engage a legal firm, because all these things need to be in place before you talk to the VC. So what we do is we use an instrument which is called the safe note. Basically, the idea is that it's a investment agreement. You give the investor the opportunity to put in the money in the early stage. They take a certain risk. In return, you need to give them some preferred terms. For example, they have two provisions, which is the valuation cap and the discount rate. So the basic idea is, for example, let's say I invested $1 million in your company now. Even though I don't take equity from your company, but I expect that in the early future, right, when you go for the next round of fundraising, you will give them like a discount rate. Let's say everyone purchase your share at $1, but because I give you money earlier, I can actually purchase at 20 cents per share. Or let's say other investors, when they come at the next round of fundraising, they will value your company at 15 millions. But because I invest in your company at the early stage, I have the valuation of, let's say, only 10 millions. So all these things you need to be considered very carefully when you talk to the investor. Always try to make it as a negotiation on par with the investor. You don't want to give the impression that you in need of their money and you really need to get the support from them, but you want to give the impression that you are actually giving them the opportunity to invest in the big idea that they can have a very good upside in the future. So all these things, right? You will not know all this from the day one, but through doing the startup and doing all this experience, you can start to get more and more experience. You get more, you know how to get away with it. So I hope it's useful because it's a very short period of time, but I want to encourage each one of you, if you have some idea that you want to make it happen, just do it today and try to do small things first. And slowly, it can become a big venture in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms.